Hello, everyone. It is so wonderful to be back. I took a break and then it's 3 months later. I don't know how that happened, but here we are today in March of 2021, and we are celebrating Women's History Month. And I have a gem for you. I'm so excited. Such a great mentor to me, and excited to have her on the podcast today. We have the awesome Judith, and she is going to share her businesses. That's how awesome she is. She got the is on the end of it, y'all. She got businesses. So we are spotlighting her for the month of March. So Miss Judy, welcome to the Advocate for Me podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time zone that you are in. My name is Judith Dumorney-McDaniel, and I am a serial entrepreneur. On a nonprofit side, I have been the founder and owner of Teenagers in Charge, which is a nonprofit organization for and about teens, whose mission is to help them build their self-esteem, heighten their cultural and community awareness, but most importantly, we teach them how to take charge of their lives. I've been doing that for 26 years, and I was just sharing with someone that I have also been a surrogate as a result of that hat that I wear for thousands of teens who needed love and affection. From that, I was able to birth being an author. And I wrote a book 2 years ago, well, actually almost 3 years ago, a blueprint to unmasking the greatness in you. Teenagers in Charge, a blueprint to unmasking the greatness in you. And that book highlights stories of teens who have had some trials and tribulations during their teenage journey, and how they found mentors like you and I to really help them overcome those challenges and learn how to be successful citizens. And on the profit side, the for-profit side, I am a spa owner of a man's cave, which is a pop-up spa for men, a total health and wellness spa where grooming and kings meet. And our goal is to help men change the trajectory of their way of thinking that spas are for women, so that they can take advantage of what we offer so that they can live longer lifespans. And nonetheless, with all of that, I'm also a wife of 21 years and a mom to a 19-year-old. So there you have it.
Well, so many hats, Miss Judy, so many hats. And you're just like I said earlier in my introduction, and just an awesome mentor to so many. Um, so my first question would be, I guess it would be around mentoring, since you have the Teenagers in Charge. And ironically enough, I met Miss Judy, and then one of my classmates in college reached out to me because I think I had took a picture with Miss Judy and posted it on my Facebook page, and he reached out to me. He was like, "You know Miss Judy?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, he was like, "She's amazing. I was in Teenagers in Charge. I love that program." He just started going off in my Facebook Messenger. I'm like, wow. I was like, "She's awesome, isn't she?" He was like, "Yes." So just like having that um ability to change teenagers' lives, because I know some parents, when they get to teenage years, they like, "Oh my goodness, please go somewhere." Had and wanted to be able to be there for teenagers. So just briefly tell me how that came about, and then how Teenagers in Charge was started.
So, interestingly, I actually used to work at a foster care agency, and I my dealings primarily as a caseworker were with younger children. And I, really took on that role and, seriously, and really enjoyed making sure that the children went to their visits. They got a chance to see their biological parents while they were in foster care. And during that time, when I would come into the office while waiting for some of those children to interact with their parents, because I wanted to give them space, I could help but to notice the fact that some of the teens who were recently placed in a foster home, they were coming right back to the foster care system, just so that unfortunately, because they had to, it just didn't work out. And that became a pattern. I noticed that, like, week after week I was seeing some of the same youth. Well, I just started talking to them and started wanting to find out what they were into, what were their interests, really taking the time to speak to them, letting them know that I see you, I hear you, I want to communicate with you, just so that they didn't feel so scared about having to go through that process all over again. And then I found out interesting things. And so, making a long story shorter, I just mainly just said, wow, I wonder what it would look like if teens could learn how to take charge of their lives. They need to learn how to beat the system and learn how to advocate for themselves. So, hence, Teenagers in Charge. That's how that was born, as a result of me seeing, a broken system that really had youth come into, foster care, where you would think, that this would be a safe space for them. But oftentimes, as a teenager, and back then, unfortunately, there were not too many homes where teens could be placed. So, resulting in them, after so many homes, which were limited to probably three at the time, they would go into a foster care group home. And oftentimes those young people don't make it. Then because they get into fights, then they become institutionalized, then they commit suicide and go into depression and all of those things. So, to avoid all of that, having said a mouthful, um, I just wanted to do something different. And here we are 26 years later.
Wow. And I actually worked in some of those foster group homes.
Mhm.
I did the overnight shift.
Yeah.
That was before I had kids or anything. So I I kind of resonated with some of them, just with with me having to grow up with a single mom and single parent raising two kids.
Mhm.
So we kind of resonated with some of the things that we had dealt with.
Sure.
And I was like in my early 20s. So, but exactly like you said, like they get into fights. Like it would be over little stuff, like you dropped your fork or something, and then they just like somebody would just blow up and turn into a fight. Definitely like when I was there, I was mentoring and
Mhm.
kind of guiding them. So I love the fact that you wanted them to see that they can be able to take charge of their own lives so that they wouldn't have to go down some of those other paths that others have went
Correct.
down. And then so I'm going to spin off to the book because you did like a monologue
Yes.
for the book, and I heard some of the stories from the book, and like I was in tears when I was in the audience.
Yeah.
And just just hearing some of the stories, the young lady that portrayed some of the stories, that read some of the stories, like
Yeah.
she just did such an amazing job. But I just wanted you to just talk about like how the book came about, what was like your vision for it, and if it's going to be a part two.
Sure. Thank you. So the book is entitled Teenagers in Charge. It's a blueprint to unmasking the greatness in you. And I will say that I did not initially think that I was going to be an author around that time in 2018. But I hit a milestone birthday. And so for me, which is 50, and I was proud to, be celebrating a half of a century. And quite honestly, Lavon, I went to God in prayer and asked, what is my next? And God kept whispering to me that he wanted me to write a book. And I'm thinking like, well, what do you mean? Like write a book? Like, what are you talking about, Lord? And I just sat quietly in silence and just listened to his directives. And then I started asking myself, well, what am I going to write about? Because I think being an author for me, it was something that I saw futuristically, but not around the time in which it happened. And so God says you're going to write about what you know, which is working with teens. This book is going to help to change lives. This book is going to help them to have a voice. And as I thought about it, I'm like, wow, you know what? God is making a lot of sense to me. And the book is really intentional. It's intentional because it really helps teens talk about the challenges that they have when they are young, the journey that they have to travel in their shoes. And people often look at teens in the bad light, but what they fail to realize is that many of them carry a lot of a burden on their shoulders. They're, having to take care of their siblings. A lot of them have health issues. A lot of them have dealt with homelessness. A lot of them have dealt with sexual abuse and rape. A lot of them have dealt with teen suicide, survivorship, and some may not have. And at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, these are stories that our teens go through, all of the topics that I just mentioned. So why not put it in a book? And then the book is told in first person where these folks have shared their story. They shared their journey and how a mentor like you and I, and I don't use the word mentor lightly, but how a mentor really is who helps save their lives. That's why I believe in mentoring and any program that offers mentors to our youth. And so taking it a step further, the book also includes questions that thought-provoking questions that you can ask after you read a story, because we are not here to judge. And then it provides resources, so it's like a 3-in-1. And then to answer your question, I actually connected with some teens, well, they're now adults, that had some challenges along the way when they were growing up. And I asked them, I would love your permission to write a story about you, and talk about where you are now, because although you are successful, it was challenging for you when you were growing up. So talk about that from a teen perspective, and then talk about how you were able to combat that, and now that you are an adult, you are looking at it now from a different lens. So that book is I'm praying that it will be released. I'm going to just put it out in the atmosphere in August of this year, and that book is entitled Voices of Yesterday.
Oh wow. Oh, I love that title. I'm ready to buy that now. Oh wow. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just want to speak on, like, when God gives you a vision,
Yes.
like, it's like, when you think about it, like you were saying, like, I'm like, okay, God, that makes sense. Like, okay, like, we want to do this. And then, like, the main reason that he wants us to do these things is because people and teenagers and kids, they're crying out for this.
Yeah.
And I just want you to talk about, because when we have that, uh, like, when we have that on, like, that calling on us to do it,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're a little hesitant. Like you know, like you said, you was like questioning, like, really, like, you want me to do that, like, and
I,
just can you just speak upon that, like,
mhm.
when you hear God speaking to you about that particular project or whatever it might be, because I know it may be some women that they feel like they need to do something because it's their story or their passion, and sometimes when you want to take it to the masses, you hesitate a little. Can you just speak about that, about how you felt when God gave you that vision and how you moved forward with it?
Sure. Thank you for asking that question. So I honestly, heard, like, literally, like, when you have a relationship with God, it's just amazing how you can hear him clearly. And so I heard him clearly when he said, I said, Lord, what am I going to do? I mean, I'm about to turn 50. Like, what should I do? What am I going to do? Like, I want to leave an impact. I want to leave a legacy. And God said, you're going to write a book. That was not even on my radar. I'm telling you, as sure as I'm sitting here. And God says, I'm going to write a book. And I just was hesitant about it, and did not even want to um I was really, like, ignoring it, actually. And every single time when I would say, Lord, okay, well, what am I going to do? God says, you're going to write a book. And it's because of fear that we tend not to move forward, and the fear of the unknown. And that was me. And so when I tell you that everything fell into play. And so when we allow God to take over, God really will take over, and God will give you exactly what you need. He will provide you with the people, He will provide you with the clarity. And the unmasking greatness in you, that came from a theme from my birthday party. And then that's where the whole book idea, God gave me the title. He gave me the coach. Shout out to Amina Diggins. That was my writer's coach. She had a business of helping women write their books, and she was able to help me with mine. So God gave me everything. Like, He gave me, I mean, everything. He brought the people to me. So all I had to do was sit down and write. And I had gotten, like, support and feedback from my team. But in short, you have to listen to the creator when you're spoken to. And I- and and it's really all about being obedient and understanding the will of God, understanding that God is not going to put you out and throw you out in the ocean, and you're not going to be able to save yourself. God is saying, I have everything that you need. If you need a boat, I'm going to bring that. If you need me to bring you to paddle, I'll bring that. If you need me to bring you to people, I got you covered. Like, I literally had to trust. So it was really an act of faith. And knowing that if you are a believer, then you need to stand firm on what you believe and who you believe.
Exactly. I was about to go back into Miss Judy mentoring me, because I know our conversations in the car, like, I'm like, Miss Judy, I can't do this. She like, yes, she can.
Yeah.
So that definitely was powerful. I
Thank
hope that, a woman that's interested in opening up her own business, or whatever may be her calling, whether it's a ministry or just, reaching out to the community, that she takes the words that you just said and just be obedient and
you.
follow what God is telling them to do.
Yes.
Um, because again, I thank you. Every time I talk to you, I tell you I thank you for,
Oh.
just, encouraging me
Mm.
when I was going through, and like I was hesitant about my children's book. That's how me and Miss Judy are in the entrepreneurship group together, and that's how we met. And then we did like a couple bending events together, and then next thing I know, I was tagging along with her in the car going to author events, and then it was
Yeah.
like nonstop. Like everywhere we went, we was together. So we been broke bread and ate dinner and everything together. So I call her my mom in the business.
Yeah.
Like even my event, she came in and she was like, "What you need me to do?" I'm like, "You a guest?" She's like, "No, let's go. What you need me to do? Like, you need me to sit the people down?" Like she is just amazing, y'all. She is just amazing, like so amazing. Um, but definitely I want to roll into the new business.
Mhm.
So because this one, you probably get this question all the time. Like, how did a woman
Right.
figure out that men needed grooming as well? Because I
Right.
agree with you totally. Because with my ex, I used to like, go get your nails done. Like, go get a
Mhm.
massage. Like, no, men don't do that. Men don't do that.
Right. So I mean, you know, interestingly, like I have to credit my husband for that because I would not have known that to be the case. But what happened was he and I would go to spas and we would frequent them. And so we would always, it's like actually like going out on a date, and then you
Hmm.
say, okay, well, let's try something new. So it was one of those kind of things. And then I said, well, have you ever gotten your nails done and your feet done? And I said, you just need to go to the spa. So then we went together. And so like it was nice and it was catered to couples, but in the waiting room there were always women in the waiting room. And even to this day, I mean, it's still for the most part that way. Like I just think about you going to a salon, and you're just there and it's just always like women. And so my husband um was like a little uncomfortable and a little apprehensive with going more frequently, and then we would like have to change the time in which we were going, and all of that had to do with like, well, they probably don't want, like, women probably don't want to see no man coming there. But I'm like, look, we're paying our money. So
Hmm.
I took note honestly to that concern, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of deep. Like I never thought about it. So then when I started doing my research, I found that he was correct. And then I thought about, like, okay, wow, well, what can be done about this? Because, let's see if there is one that happened to exist in the city of Philadelphia. There was nothing. And then there was nothing in the tri-state area that was exclusively for men. And so I took an interest in, wanting to solve a problem, because that's what I love to do. I love starting. I love startups. Like all of the different things that I've been involved with, they all like unique. And I
Hmm.
just I'm a business starter. Like I really love doing that, and I love helping people with their ideas and helping them to figure it out. And so for me, it was fun, like just doing the research and then finding, like, wow, this is a serious matter. Like, this is we need to do something about it. Like that's how I was. And so with that, I started doing research, and then I found out Temple University, they had a small business development center. And so I took classes there to learn how to write, back then, a business plan. And I wrote it on, it wasn't my the name of my business actually wasn't even called A Man Cave at first. It was initially called My Brother's Sanctuary, because I saw it as a sanctuary for men. They needed to be in a space, but many men, much men that we know, they can't really relate to a sanctuary, but they can relate to a man cave. And so that's
Hmm.
how the name A Man's Cave, a pop-up spot for men, came about. And so the mission is to really help men to really change the trajectory of how they think about a spa. And it is our business is a total health and wellness, and so they not only get spa services like a manicure, massage, facial, pedicure, but they also experience being in live with a chef that helps them to see the importance of eating healthy, how to cook a food. They sample some of the demos, and then we also have a medical health professional. Right now, I'm partnering with Dr. Khadijah Douglas, and she's a homeopathic doctor, and she does pH balances with the men. She checks their blood pressure, she checks their weight, she answers any questions that they may have. And so it is really an experience that a man can come and be pampered while also learning how to take care of their health so that they can live longer. And it is a fact that men are dying 5 years younger than women, and we need to change that.
Exactly. And you spoke a little bit about the health piece,
Hmm.
because I was gonna ask about that. Like, what so the men that have come to the a man's cave,
Hmm.
have they shared like their experience and how they relate coming to a man's cave and learning those different techniques of self-care and then of how to take care of their health? Have
Hmm.
they spoke about that since then? Like, that made them want to go to the doctor more, or that made them, open up their mind to other opportunities that's benefiting for their health?
That's a very good question, and thank you for asking that. So, many of our customers, more than 50% of them were repeated customers, and they have never ever been to a spa before. And what they like about it is the fact that it really highlights everything in a safe space that is very important for the man to be a part of. And from that, they are more what I have been told, from the feedback that we have received in the surveys that we provided, that we provided and we received back. They mentioned that they are more cognizant now of what they may put in their mouth. They're cognizant of their skin. They're cognizant of their nails. Some of them would have gone home to their spouses or significant others and wanted to really uh, start cooking, start cooking a little healthier. Some of them wanted to replicate the food that they may have sampled with us at home. um, they are more cognizant of being in tune with their health. And so some may have been overweight and they're cognizant of that and want to do something about it. And we're really, it's all about a total health change, and being and making small changes, and small changes will then grow into larger ones.
Exactly, exactly. Um, so I'm just excited for you.
Thank
And
you.
the businesses that you have moving forward. And like, you're helping like a lot of the community. Like, you're helping teenagers with the
Mhm.
book. You're helping anyone who may have experienced any life challenges when they were younger, and then they get to read the part two when it come out. You know? And helping the men. Like, you're just amazing, Miss Judy. That's all I can say is. My thing is, because you're obedient with what God is calling you to do, um and just running the with the businesses and helping our community, because they all need the business. Like, that was one of
Yeah.
the things my mentor told me when I wrote my children's book and was hesitant to move forward. She was
Mhm.
like, it's not about you.
Yeah.
She was like,
Yeah.
it has to help the person that it was written for, or the
Correct.
business has to help the person that it's for. And you're definitely doing that. Um, I just want you to share with the listeners. So normally when we end,
Yes.
I allow you to share anything that you want to share with the listeners. And then the second thing is how they can contact you.
Sure. So again, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for creating this space for entrepreneurs like ourselves to be able to connect with your listening audience. And it's always, a joy to talk to you. And I just can't wait for the world to open up so that we can see each other again.
Yes, I miss you.
Really. So thank you for having me, first of all. Second of all, I would like to just let your listening audience know that there may be someone out there who is afraid to begin their journey. They're afraid because they think that they are just too old. They, just don't have the faith in wanting to do the things that they desired for years, right? And so I am an example of a person who just did what God has called me to do. It took me 21 years to go back to school and get my advanced degree. So I have my master's.
Well,
And it
congratulations.
took me 21 years to do that. It took me 20 years to launch a man's cave, and it took me a little over a decade, more than a decade, 20 years, I would say that again, in the 20s, to write a book. And so 20 is the magic number. Now, it's not going to take you 20 years to do that, but my point is it's never too late. And whatever God has for you is for you. For those of you who are struggling and asking yourself, I don't know where to start, my advice is to just start. And I promise you that you will never, ever regret making a decision that God has called upon you to do. And the last thing that I want to say is failure leads to success. A lot of times, many of us want something done and we want it done perfectly. But at the end of the day, you have to begin with the end in mind, and you have to commit first, and you need to figure it out later, and all else will come into play.
Awesome, awesome. I know that's what I mentor in our entrepreneurship group says, like
Mm-hmm.
start first and
Yeah.
figure it out later.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I always hear him saying that in my head. Like my mom,
Yes.
like, no, I want to do this, 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 and this. I want to have it a lot. Like, no, start now and then
Mhm.
figure it out later.
Yeah.
So, and God will send you the people to help you to figure it out. Like you were
Yes.
sharing earlier in your story, like
Mhm.
you think you got to do it all by yourself, but He already has the people aligned that's going to help you
Already.
in starting that business. You just got to start. Like God is like standing right there at the start line. Like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
and you like right there, like 2 feet away, like, I don't think I'm gonna do this. And he's like, come on. And
He's
as soon
already
as you
there.
hear that bell whistle or that, the little thing to pop off to, start that race, then he just
Yes.
waiting for you to go. He just waiting for you to move. And once you move, it'll line all up in place. Um, so can you share with the listeners how they can contact you?
Oh, sure. Yes. So, on Teenagers in Charge, I have an Instagram page, and it's at TIC1995. My website is www.teenagersincharge.com, all one word. And my Facebook group is Teenagers in Charge. And we are incorporated and we are trademarked. Yay!
Yay!
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I meant to mention that. And then for a man cave, you can find me on Facebook, which is A Man's Cave um, LLC. And then for my website is www.amanscavellc.com. And then my Instagram for A Man's Cave is a.mans.cave.llc on IG. And I will also share all of that with you so that they can just click on the link.
Okay, awesome. I'll definitely make sure when we put this up to put your flyer and your information with.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Judy, for coming and joining us for our Women's History Month. I will definitely have you on again later on this year. But I was to the listeners, like I said, I took a break for Christmas and my birthday, and then when I looked up, my daughter, who's 8, said, "Mom, why you ain't been doing your podcast?" And I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she's
it
the
really
little
was
CEO. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I just, because the last episode aired like the end of December, and I was like, I'll see you guys, Happy New Year. And then now it's March. So time is really flying by, and it's like I'm staying steady because we're still like in the restrictions in Philadelphia.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
but time is moving really quickly. So when she said that, I said, okay, well, let me think of something to do for the month of March. And then I kept seeing everybody post up Women History Month. I said, well, I know the first person that I'm going to have on there is Miss Judy, because she is. So thank you for accepting the invitation to be on here. I'm just, like I said before, I'm just so excited what God has in store for us. And again, I can't wait to see you and give you a hug.
I know.
I was like, I want to share this with her so much, but I know we've been, reaching out to each other via social media and text message. So again, I want to thank you and tell my social media niece that I'm proud of her.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
I know it's a transition and a challenging one, but I'm definitely proud of her, and everything that she's about to accomplish. So I thank everyone for listening. Again, Miss Judy shared how you can reach out to her and contact her for A Man's Cave, as well as Teenagers in Charge, and follow her on Instagram and Facebook so you can order the book, Teenagers in Charge, as well as get ready for the second part. And I do have a question, because I know it was supposed to be a play, and then COVID kind of got in the way. Are we still doing the play?
Yes, we are still going to be doing the play. And that's going to be amazing. Like, I mean, we already have a vision of what that's going to look like. So, that is definitely still in the play, and I'm just looking to see how things are going to play out this summer. But it's going to be powerful because it's going to be done in such a way that you're going to be able to feel, you're going to be able to feel like all of what our young people are going through just through these exchange and in a theatrical way.
Awesome.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yes, I'm so excited. That's why I was like, ask about the play.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yes, so thank you all to my listeners for listening today. Again, please reach out to Miss Judy, and I will see you guys soon, because I'll have another woman celebrating Women History Month for the month of March. Miss Judy, have a great day and a great evening.
Thank you.
I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, my dear. Have a good night.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.